Assalamu alaikum everyone. How are you? I hope you all are doing quite well. So this is going to be our second class and our third session, because in the first class we had two sessions, and now today we are going to have two more sessions. So I hope that by now you all are quite familiar with the course outline of Functional English 2, and most of you have submitted me the names of your books, and the names have got approved. And after going through your books, the names of your books, I am glad that I assume that a lot of you are into reading, because some of you have selected quite well written authors and a very good content. And the reason that I asked you to get it approved from me, because for this particular assignment, which is kind of which will extend throughout the semester, I want you to select books with good writing style and good content, so that you learn writing as well, because for me, writing can never be separated from reading. And then we had sort of introductions in the group, and I was happy to read your introduction. Some of you are quite focused, almost all of you, and quite motivated as well. And the way you responded, and the way you kind of written your introduction, I was really happy. So I am quite aware of your introductions, though we cannot have face-to-face communication and interaction, because that is something very different from this online space. So although we did not have that interaction yet, but after reading your introduction, I am quite familiar with your background, your interests, your objectives, and I will try my best to kind of aid you and help you develop communication skills, so that you're able to achieve your objective of either becoming an entrepreneur, or working in the field of management or marketing, whatever you want to pursue in your future. Okay, so the only thing that I still don't know is whether you have started journaling or not, because I really want you to journal it for yourself. You don't need to show it to me, but it's solely for the purpose of developing that familiarity with writing. So I hope that you have started doing it by now, and once you develop this habit and develop this love of writing, then you get used to it and you sort of start enjoying it. um, that's it, the brief introduction. And we all know that we covered the basics of communication skills, and we talked about the purpose of writing, and the things that you have to focus on, and the steps and approaches to writing. We discussed process and project approach, the difference between the two in our last sessions. And I also informed you that what we are following in this course is the process approach, because you will be going through a number of process, and the focus is not only to just achieve the end, but to become better writers, and that is more possible through following a process approach. I hope that you all are there with a small notebook and pens, and you will take some of the notes. So if you are familiar with the course outline, you know that we'll be moving on to discussing paragraph development, and then later on there are a variety of writing that are there in your mentioned in the course outline that you will be doing throughout the 3 or 3.5 months semester. So before we move on to paragraph development, and I formally start teaching you about paragraph development, and what are the things that you need to focus on while you're developing a paragraph, and how would you develop a paragraph, and other sort of writing. Before I actually explicitly teach you different forms of writing, I want to start or begin with the basics of writing. These basics are often the basics of communication skills in general. These are often and commonly known as 7 C's of communication, and I assume that you all are familiar with that. The reason that I'm conducting this first session on 7 C's of communication is that I want you to incorporate these 7 C's into any sort of writing that you will be doing. and you get habitual of assessing and critically analyzing your own write-ups, so that you yourself are your best critique, because you might not always have someone to get feedback from. You might not have someone to show your writing all the time, but if you yourself become your critique and you yourself are able to judge your own piece of writing, then I believe you won't be dependent on anybody else. So we'll begin with discussing the 7 C's of effective communication, but I will be specifically focusing on 7 C's of communication with specific reference to incorporating these elements into your writing, because this course is only focused towards this writing skill. तो हम 7 C's पे बात करेंगे कि कैसे आप जब इन 7 C's को इनकॉर्पोरेट करेंगे अपनी राइटिंग में, तो आपका जो राइटिंग है वो एक बेहतर राइटिंग बनेगी। एंड आप लोग अभी शायद इस स्टेज पे ना हो जब आप इतना बेहतर लिख सकते हो, लेकिन बिलीव मी कि जो राइटिंग है वो कम्युनिकेशन की किसी भी दूसरी स्किल की तरह जो है वो ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम आप उसमें एफिशिएंसी गेन करते हैं। जिस तरह से आप एकदम से एक बेहतर स्पीकर नहीं बन सकते, इट कम्स आफ्टर अ लॉट ऑफ प्रैक्टिस। और जिन लोगों ने डिबेट की है या दोज हु आर इनटू डिबेट, उनको पता होगा कि इनिशियल डेज डिबेटिंग के कैसे होते हैं और फिर जब वो सीख जाते हैं तो फिर वो कैसे होते हैं। तो इसी तरीके से राइटिंग जो है वो अभी आप थोड़ा ओवरवेल्म फील करते होंगे कि मैं ये भी बता रही हूँ वो भी बता रही हूँ, लेकिन जब आप खुद इस प्रोसेस में अपने लर्निंग प्रोसेस में इन्वॉल्व हो जाएंगे तो ये जो चीजें हैं वो आपके लिए इतनी मुश्किल नहीं रहेंगी। तो विदाउट much I mean more detail, I think I'll begin with discussing the topic for the first session today. So let me switch on my PowerPoint slide and share my screen with you. So yes, and this is my screen. Okay. Okay, so let's begin with discussing the 7 essential elements to be focused or incorporated in your write-ups. Okay. So if you want to become an effective communicator, it's very essential for you to, it's very important for you to follow some or incorporate some elements in your written communication. So there are some principles that can help you make your writing effective and complete and concise. So let's just briefly look at these 7 C's of communication. Okay, so I'll just list it down for you, and then one by one I'll show you some good examples, some relevant examples, so that you have an idea what do I actually mean by each element. So the first basic element of this 7 C's of communication is completeness. Then we have conciseness. Then we have consideration, concreteness, clarity, courtesy, correctness. Now this can vary from one source to another. If you Google it or if you sort of read it in different books, you will come across the basics are same, but there are sometimes 9 C's of communication as well. So you might come across any 1 or 2 new elements. But if you are able to incorporate or integrate these 7 essential elements into your writing, you will learn to make your writing effective for the reader. Okay, so let's look at the first element. Now, for your message to be effective, it's very important that you sort of compose a message that is complete in itself, and the reader does not have to ask for the relevant information, does not have to, find or make an effort to look for the information that find the information that he or she was looking for. So no matter you're writing a letter, or consider it from a long term point of view, a perspective that you are working at an organization and you are supposed to compose an email for your subordinates or your team members. So whether it's an email, it's a letter, it's an essay, it's a summary, it's a paragraph, please make sure that you convey a complete message. All the elements that have to be there are there, because an incomplete message does not only become a barrier in helping the writer achieve their purpose, but it can also sort of promote or result in confusion, or it can give rise to more confusion or lack of clarity. The aim of writing wouldn't be met. So I hope you understand that. तो जब भी आप लिख रहे हैं, आप प्लीज इस बात का ख्याल रखें कि आपका जो भी मैसेज है, चाहे आप एक ईमेल के जरिए कोई ऑफिशियल नोटिस भेज रहे हो, आप जिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम करेंगे उसमें, या बहुत जगह, बहुत यूनिवर्सिटीज में बच्चे जो हैं वो सोसाइटीज का पार्ट होते हैं, तो आप अपने मेंबर्स के लिए या जनरल ऑडियंस के लिए कोई मैसेज कंपोज कर रहे हैं कि कोई इवेंट है, तो आप सिर्फ ये नहीं बताएंगे कि अच्छा ये इवेंट हो रहा है, ये हमने एक डिबेटिंग सोसाइटी है तो ये डिबेट है। यू विल ऑलवेज टेल देम कि इस दिन पे ये डिबेट हो रही है और इस टाइम से इस टाइम तक डिबेट हो रही है। तो अगर आप सिर्फ अपना एक बैनर बना रहे हैं और उस पर आप सिर्फ लिख रहे हैं कि वेलकम टू द फर्स्ट डिबेट ऑफ द सेमेस्टर, so the audience or anyone who reads it will have sort of a confusion, and they will look for information, and you will not be able to achieve your end, that is your goal. So always aim for completeness whenever you're composing a message. इसी तरीके से आप कोई ऐसे लिख रहे हैं और उसमें जो एलिमेंट्स कंप्लीट होने चाहिए, जो एलिमेंट्स उसमें होने चाहिए, आप वो नहीं उसमें डाल रहे हैं, राइट? तो आप कोई आर्ग्यूमेंटेटिव ऐसे लिख रहे हैं, एंड आई एम लुकिंग फॉर सम ऑफ द वेरी कोजेंट आर्ग्यूमेंट्स सो दैट यू आर एबल टू कन्विंस मी ऑफ योर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, एंड दोज आर्ग्यूमेंट्स आर मिसिंग, or the writing is vague, there is lack of completeness because of which your intention seems vague. So that that will not be considered as an effective or efficient style of writing. So focus on that. So okay, now the example is from the point of view of business writing, since you are the BBA student. So let's suppose that you have to tell information or give information about a certain product to your sales team. Now always remember, I think I have spent quite a few minutes on helping you understand the importance of effective communication in today's era, with specific reference to the technological development. So always remember that those who are unable to display good communication skills, and those who fail to deliver their message, they not only sort of frustrate their employees, but they also suffer a lot when it comes to their career development. So because if your message won't be grasped properly, then there will be a communication breakdown. So this is something that you really need to focus on. Okay. Okay, so one way, or one way through which you can help or assess that if your message is complete or not, is that you can look for answering these 5 W's. So whenever you're composing a written message, if it's a spoken message, it's very different. Like suppose you're standing in front of your team members, and you're conducting a meeting and you're saying something. Even at that time, it's preferable that you convey a complete message, and then you leave the floor for comment or feedback or question and answer session. But let's assume that you are having a sort of an informal meeting with your team members and you're telling them about a certain event or a product, and as per your knowledge, you have given them all the necessary details. But let's suppose any one element here is missing. So because it's a situation, it's a speaking situation, you're having one-on-one interaction, there are less chances of communication breakdown, because your team members can easily raise their hands and ask for clarity. But if it's a written message, it takes time to receive for the receiver to receive this message, so you are going to have time constraints. So prior to sending the message, always make sure that you have incorporated these essential 5 elements in your writing. So always look for the 5 W's. Have I incorporated these 5 W's in my writing? So whenever you're composing a message, look for the real message. What is it that I am talking about, and what is it that I need to talk about? Is my message in relevance to what I'm expected to talk or what I'm expected to write? Then when? For example, if you're composing an email about a meeting to be held, then please give the proper details, complete details. When will the meeting be held, on which date, which day, and at what time? Then where? So do not forget to mention the venue. Why? Your reason for writing it, what is the purpose of delivering this message, and who. So these are not, hard and fast rule, but mostly just remember the W's. Similarly, if in case you're writing something, you're writing a paragraph and a topic has been given to you, please ask yourself, what is it that I'm supposed to write about? What are the details that are needed, and that cannot be excluded? Right? Why am I writing this? What am I trying to achieve? What is my purpose? Right? So try to incorporate all the relevant details in a way that the reader does not have to ask for the incomplete information, and there is no room for communication breakdown or no room for communication failure from your part. Okay, now this is sort of this 5 method question is useful, particularly this when, where, what is specifically useful when you're kind of writing for giving making announcements or making requests or any other sort of informative message. If you remember the last session, I discussed about the purpose of writing, and I told you that we can divide the purpose of communication or writing into broad categories. For your purpose, I told you that we mostly focus on the 2 types. So either you are communicating or writing to inform, or you are writing to persuade. So these W's are relevant for you when you're writing for the sake of delivering or giving any sort of information. But if it's a persuasive writing, if it's an essay writing, if it's a summary writing, if it's a paragraph writing, or you're writing a blog, you might not find these W's relevant, but always look for what is it that I am supposed to talk about, what is the information that I can in no way exclude. ठीक है, तो अगर आप कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन देने वाले हैं, आपका पर्पस इन्फॉर्म करना है, तो आप ये 5 W's पे हमेशा फोकस करें कि क्या इन्फॉर्म करना है, कहाँ पे, किधर, किसको, who are the participants who are involved. इंफॉर्मेशन देनी है किसी तरीके की, तो आप इस मेथड को फॉलो कर सकते हैं. बट if your purpose is sort of to persuade, अगर किसी और तरीके की राइटिंग है, तो देखें कि असल मैसेज क्या देना है. ठीक है, तो जल्दी से हम एग्जाम्पल्स देख लेते हैं, बिकॉज आई थिंक आई हैव टेकन स्पेंड टू मच टाइम ऑन द इंट्रोडक्शन. तो अब दैट एग्जाम्पल क्या है? हाय ऑल, let us meet tomorrow to discuss product launch event. Please be there on time. Thank you. Now, why is this a bad message? Because it's simply the writer has said that let's meet tomorrow. Whereas while composing an official email for conducting a meeting, it's important for you to discuss the venue, to discuss the time, and to discuss the purpose for which you're expecting your team members to come for the meeting. So a good example would be, hi all, let us meet tomorrow at 11 a.m. at conference room 3 to discuss the product launch event. We'll have to decide the keynote speakers and complete the event invite draft after tomorrow. Please be there on time. Regards or thank you. Right? Let's look at the other second C, that is conciseness. Now, basically, conciseness has to do with the quality of conveying the message. So, an effective, till intermediate students are taught कि भाई पेपर में जितना ज्यादा आप लिखेंगे तो उतना ज्यादा you have a chance to score. But now you are done with intermediate. So forget whatever you were taught at that time. A good message is the one in which the writer is able to convey their message in an effective manner using the fewest number of words possible. तो जबरदस्ती का elaborate करना is not considered effective. Try to be concise and to the point. Now, how to achieve conciseness? These are the three rules to remember. Please avoid wordy expression. You know, I would like to inform, you that, so that. So try to keep it precise and only include information that are relevant to your topic. In the next session, when we'll be talking about paragraph development, I'll be sharing some of the examples that how inexperienced writers have a tendency to deviate from the main topic and incorporate irrelevant details in your writing, and how you have to identify whether you have incorporated any irrelevant detail, and if you have, then you have to exclude that. So only talk about something which is relevant. So if you're composing an email for calling a meeting, you do not need to discuss anything else. If you're writing a paragraph about effects of, effects of COVID-19, then probably, you effects of COVID-19 on the economy, then probably if you, in the same paragraph, if you're talking about social isolation that people have experienced, now that is sort of a mismatch between your purpose, between your topic and what you're writing, right? So if it's the economic effects of COVID-19, please stick to that. So talk about only what is relevant to the topic and do not deviate from your topic. ठीक है, तो deviate ना करें, जो topic है उसी पे बात करें. And avoid unnecessary repetition. फिर से मैं बता दूं कि अगर it's a spoken discourse, it's natural to sort of use fillers. मैं क्या कह रही थी, sort of repetition कि अच्छा फिर से आप मतलब कोई बात रिपीट कर दें, बट इन राइटिंग रेपिटेशन इज मोस्टली कंसिडर्ड अ फ्लॉ अंटिल अनलेस इट इज यूज्ड एज अ डिवाइस. तो अगर तो आप मैसेज रीएनफोर्स करने के लिए उस आइडिया को रिपीट कर रहे हैं कंक्लूजन में क्योंकि आप वो इम्पैक्ट देना चाह रहे हैं टू योर रीडर्स, दैट इज वन थिंग. But if you keep on repeating the same idea using the same words, vocabulary, the same content, then that probably would be considered a flaw. So please try to focus on these three elements, and I hope you'll be able to achieve conciseness in your writing. Okay. So okay. Okay, so some other ways, use shorter names after you have used the original name. Use acronyms. So what are acronym? For example, you have written Water Authority, WAPDA, right? Water Authority, sort of, if you have given the full form, and Water and Power Development Authority, something like that. I'm making a mistake right now, probably. I'll confirm. Or PACC, generally anything. Or UNESCO. You have written United Nation Educational Scientific Culture Organization. So every time in every other paragraph, if you're going to write United Nation Educational Scientific Culture Organization, or you have written United Nation UNICEF, Children Emergency Fund. And every other time, you are writing United Nations Children Emergency Fund. So that is sort of, very repetitive. So you can use acronym. Acronym क्या होता है कि वो आप short form use कर लें. ठीक है? Use pronoun. So imagine that, you're talking about someone's routine. For example, Mary. Mary wakes up early in the morning. Mary goes for a walk. Mary comes back. Mary goes to school. Then Mary likes to eat mangoes. Mary reads book. Or Mary loves to write. Now see how repetitive and sort of a very repetitive and monotonous sort of writing style it is. So Using pronoun is important. Okay. Uh, I think let's look at an example. Hi, Suzanne. I think we need to talk about the CSR campaign. I mean, the one which we need to do as a quarterly exercise. I think it's a great way of enhancing our brand image. Basically, it would just be a visit to an orphanage, but we can sort of do other things too. For instance, we could take the kids out for a short trip to a nearby park or zoo. That is, let us think and talk tomorrow. Now this is very, overly wordy. I would say this is quite wordy. There are too many words that have been used. So a better example could be, hi Suzanne, I need to discuss the quarterly CSR campaign with you. Let us take the kids out this time to a nearby park or zoo instead of just visiting them. This will help us enhance our brand image. We'll talk in detail tomorrow. Now compare it with the first example. I think it is a great way of enhancing our brand image. It would just be a visit to, so you see, it would just be a visit. I think it's a great way to enhancing our brand image. And here you have grouped the two ideas together into a single sentence by using sort of simple sentences, I would say. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now consideration is very important, because it's not only you who are important when you're delivering a message. Please focus on the interest of the listener. So always try to make your message audience centered, no matter whether it's a spoken message or it's a written message. So always keep the target audience in your mind, right? So if you are talking about gender issues in Pakistan, obviously you will talk about the issues or events or incidents that are happening here in this country. Obviously, gender issues sort of link when it comes to, in different countries in the world, but then in our countries, it has to be country specific. If you're talking about the issues faced by students in universities, especially after COVID-19, then obviously there will be some sort of connection between in the issues faced by students all across the world, but there will be some issues specifically faced by the students in your community, in your country. So always, this is not like a specific example of being considerate, but what I'm trying to say is that keep the audience in mind. Here, with consideration, I mean that you need to consider the feelings and perspectives of your audience. Do not talk about something which reflects your lack of consideration towards the reader. Okay, so focus on you instead of we. When you're composing your message, please show the reader that you are concerned with their benefits. Emphasize positive and pleasant facts. So avoid sort of ideas that can be inconsiderate towards a specific group of audience, and do not use a lot of you. For example, what I was saying, using a lot of you can give a negative impression. Achha, now from the point of view of sales, right, or marketing, you will be able to shop now with extended hours. Try to show that the receiver listeners' queries are being answered, right? So focusing on the you. Okay, so being considerate, focusing on the interests of your audience and showing them that what they can achieve out of it. Okay, instead of focusing on your own benefit. Now let us talk about concreteness. So we talked about consideration, conciseness, consideration, and completeness, and now we are moving towards concreteness. Now what do we mean by concrete? That your message is concrete, very specific instead of general. If from sales point of view, from business point of view, if you are composing a message for your clients, always refer to the facts and figures instead of just giving them generic information. And from the point of view of writing any piece of writing, paragraph or an essay, try to give details vivid, that helps create vivid imagery. So try to write in a way that your reader is able to, visualize, and they can actually, connect, and they can actually imagine what you're saying. So you must have experienced this when you read a novel or a story, that the way they describe the whole scene, the room, the windows, the curtains in a room, you are able to, sort of imagine. You have these vivid imagery in your mind. तो that is very important. ठीक है, तो आप बिल्कुल एग्जैक्ट एक सिनेरियो क्रिएट करते हैं, इट्स अ स्टोरी राइटिंग और इट्स एन एसे राइटिंग. अगर बिजनेस के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से राइटिंग है and you want to convince your client, please do not forget to incorporate facts and statistics. That's very important. um, so concreteness is basically a quality which needs to come to the कोर्स, स्पेशली ड्यूरिंग मार्केटिंग और एडवर्टाइजिंग कैंपेन, जो मैं बता चुकी हूँ कि उधर बहुत जरूरी है. एंड यू नीड टू गिव डिटेल्स दैट कैन हेल्प यू कैप्चर द अटेंशन ऑफ योर ऑडियंस. ठीक है. अच्छा, दिस इज अ बैड एग्जाम्पल. Hilltop Resort is the best resort. Do come to us on your next visit. Now, this is sort of vague ad message. It's just like thousands of other advertisement message. You might not be able to gain the audience attention just simply by writing this sentence, and the audience, this does not have the impact that you're looking for advertising your resort, because it's nothing special, and your audience will not even remember your message because there are no detail. You haven't incorporated anything that is extraordinary about Hilltop Resort. So let us look at a better example. Hilltop Resort is the jewel of the Western Hills. Take a break from your work, escape from life's chaos and stress, relax and rejuvenate yourself at Hilltop. Go back fresh and energized. Now you see, एक तो ये है कि इसमें facts और तो एक अलग चीज है कि आपने बताया कि भी वो रिजॉर्ट किस तरीके से है. But what is different is that the moment you read it, you are able to visualize. I can imagine myself taking a break from my work, escaping from my life's stress and chaos, and relaxing and rejuvenating myself at the Hilltop. So use words that are vivid, right? Acha, because this is visualizing, you are helping your audience visualize detail, and the audience can actually imagine being in a beautiful resort, and this is a concrete message. This is concreteness is in marketing, very fixed quantity. 100 push-ups, the program that helps you perform 100 push-ups. So you're very specific. General बात नहीं करे, आपने specific बता दिया कि this is the quality of your program. इसी तरीके से Ostrich Pillow, the revolutionary power napping device. Now here again, you're very specific about the product that you're offering. So your message have to be very clear, and the reader does not, shouldn't need to put any special effort for looking for information, because this way you will only result in wasting more time on emails. This is because of this is the point of clarity. The fifth 7C, that is that your message needs to be clear. Do not sort of compose a message that is vague, the idea is not clear, because that sort of will either result in the communication breakdown, and if not communication breakdown, then it will result in both of the party losing a great deal of time on seeking clarity. Okay? So choose precise words and familiar and easy words. Bad example. Hi James, I would like to talk to you about the new client's project which the engineering team had discussed yesterday. I might need the help of John from your team. Now, here what is wrong? Now the receiver might not know who the new client is and what the project is about. And also, from the message, we can decipher that the receiver of the message was not probably the part of the meeting that was held with the engineering team, and also which John. There can be more than one John. So again, lack of clarity, full name is missing. And Kevin also mentions that he wants to talk. But again, He hasn't talked about what time he would like to talk, neither has he asked James if he would be free at any of the time slot that are available. So a good example would be, dear James, as you may know, we have signed up XYZ as our new client. I had a meeting with the engineering team yesterday and had discussed the campaign requirements for this project. John Redden from your team had done a pretty good job. You see, John Redden from your team, more specific and clear. Last time doing the social media campaign for ABC, and so I would like him to work on the XYZ campaign too. So why am I looking for John Redden? Because his past records are exemplary, are quite inspiring. So I want him again for my this project. So clear and concise message. Would you be available sometime tomorrow to discuss this further? So asking from the receiver. So a clear message. The aim is clear. All the components are quite clear. Courtesy is very important. So courtesy, it basically in message shows that the sender's expression as it shows your expression, and it also reflects that you sort of you are displaying respect for the receiver. So it should be polite. Consideration, a lot of times students get confused about the difference between consideration and courtesy. तो आपको ये कंफ्यूजन हो सकती है कि दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है. Consideration is that you are focusing on the interest of your reader. You are not only talking about your own benefit. आप सिर्फ अपनी चीजों के बारे में, अपनी वो चीजें जिनसे आप रिलेट कर सकते हैं, सिर्फ उनके बारे में बात नहीं करना है, बल्कि रीडर के इंटरेस्ट को भी इनकॉर्पोरेट करना है अपने मैसेज में. वो कंसिडरेशन है. कर्टेसी क्या है? बेसिक रिस्पेक्ट आप डिस्प्ले कर रहे हैं फॉर द रीडर्स. और अगर आप स्पीकिंग डिस्कोर्स में हैं, आप स्पीच डिलीवर कर रहे हैं, सो फॉर द ऑडियंस सिटिंग देयर. सो कर्टेसी क्या है? दैट योर मैसेज शुड बी पोलाइट, जुडिशियस, रिफ्लेक्टिव एंड एंथुसियास्टिक. सो बेसिकली courtesy implies that you take into consideration both viewpoint and also the feeling of your receiver. And it is positive, and like consideration, it is also focused on the audience and it is positive. You tend to derive positive feelings out of it. And it makes use of terms showing respect for the receiver of the message. And it is not at all biased. So it's not that you sort of exclude a particular group of audience and it's biased. For example, you are delivering a speech in a mixed group setting, and you sort of say something which is biased towards one gender. So that is very insensitive on your part. So try to be courteous. Bad example. Hey Drew, I really do not appreciate how your IT team ignores the requests of my team alone. My team is an important function in this organization too, and we have our own IT requirements. So sort of very negative way of beginning a message, and it sort of seems arrogant. Can you ensure that your team responds promptly to my team's requests here on? So a very direct, and I feel that the tone is quite threatening. तो पढ़ के ऐसे लग रहा है कि आप बड़ा ही reprimand कर रहे हैं, and that sorts of that sorts of impact business and work relationship very negatively. So try to maintain a positive relationship and establish a rapport with the reader. ठीक है? So because this email is condescending, judgmental, and disrespectful. Okay, now good example. Hi Drew, I understand that the IT team is swamped with work and gets requests from every department in the organization. My team, however, is working on a high priority project, and I would greatly appreciate if you could ask your team members to respond to my team's queries promptly and help us complete this project on time. Please do let me know if you need anything from me. So you see, the way this person has begun this message reflects that this person is considerate, courteous towards their team. They admit that their team is overburdened, they have other work. तो दूसरों के feelings को भी incorporate करना है, उसको समझना है. You need to take them into confidence. So this is very important. ठीक है? और इसी तरीके से अगर आप लिख रहे हैं कोई ऐसा पैराग्राफ लिख रहे हैं about any issue, तो you sort take into consideration both the viewpoint. ठीक है, तो वो biased नहीं होना चाहिए कोई भी message. Because when you compose a message that is courteous, that is polite, obviously the sender or the receiver of the message will not have any any reason for not acting as per your request, because you're polite, you take into consideration their feelings as well. ठीक है, अच्छा जी. Now the last C, which is again very important, correctness of message. It is very important for you as students of English language that you learn to use proper grammar, punctuation and spelling. It basically means accuracy of language, accuracy of facts and figures, and incorporating acceptable writing mechanics. Accuracy of language from the point of view of grammar. Please proofread your writing before submitting it to anyone or before your final submission for language. Check if you have used language correctly, and if you have used expressions that are correct, that are accurate, that are clear. And accuracy of facts and statistics is also very important. Sometimes people refer from a source that is not very reliable. तो हमेशा अगर आप facts और statistics दे रहे हैं तो ये check करें कि जो source है जहां से quote कर रहे हैं वो reliable है. Maintain acceptable writing mechanics. Mechanics मैंने आपको शायद last class में बताया था कि क्या होता है. Punctuation, capitalization, तो ये वाली चीजें mechanics में आती हैं. तो whenever you edit or proofread, please look for the accuracy of mechanics into your writing, and use right level of language. There are 3 levels of language: formal, informal and substandard. Formal है कोई भी official discourse है, कोई भी assignment है, कोई भी write up है, in your university, in any subject, the language has to be formal. So informal क्या है? Informal expression, ASAP, ASAP, right? तो अब आप ये फॉर्मल राइटिंग में नहीं लिख सकते. But if it's a Facebook message to your friend, you can incorporate informal expression as well. Short forms like these, right? Hi dude, but you cannot write it in your official assignment or official letter writing assignment, right? Substandard क्या है? Below the standard. Using abusive words, using negative words, that is substandard. So formal or informal तो context पे depend करेगा, but avoid using substandard or below the standard language or expression. ठीक है? Formal writing is associated with scholarly writing, legal document and top level agreement. Informal is more characteristics of business writing. अच्छा, business writing में भी होता है कि आप अपनी टीम से communicate करें, so you can use words that are more conversational. तो बहुत ज्यादा आपको dictionary वाली vocabulary use करने की जरूरत नहीं. फॉर्मल क्या होगा? पार्टिसिपेट, आप सिंपली कहते हैं ज्वाइन. एंडीवर, सिंपली से ट्राई. असर्टेन, फाइंड आउट. यूटिलाइज, यूज. इंटरोगेट, क्वेश्चन. तो इसमें आप चूज कर सकते हैं डिपेंडिंग ऑन द लेवल ऑफ फॉर्मेलिटी दैट यू हैव विथ योर टीम. सबस्टैंडर्ड क्या है? एंड, isn't, aren't, can't, hardly. ये राइटिंग स्टाइल, ये एक्सप्रेशंस यूज होते हैं लेकिन ये एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है, इनकरेक्ट वो हैं. और abusive words, derogatory expression, ये भी substandard में आ जाता है. So these were the 7 C's of communication. I think we have fallen short of time. I think I have taken few minutes extra in order to complete this. So now that I have taught you the basics of writing, the characteristics of writing that you have to focus on in any type of writing that you will be involved in, I hope that in further sessions, in every other type of writing that we discuss, you will always look for completeness of your message. You'll always look for clarity, correctness, courtesy, consideration, and all of these elements in your writing. And you will be able to critique your writing and judge if you have incorporated these elements or not. So in the next session, I'll be moving on to the topic of paragraph development. So see you in the second session. Thank you.